Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at Apex 2014 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm joined by Tom Forsythe from Kyzen. Tom, good to see you again. Thanks for stopping by. A little bit of confidence seems to have returned to the US market of late. Is that founded?
It does. The mood is definitely upbeat. I could pick it up yesterday even before things got started. I'm not so sure whether it's what the driver is as much as people are tired of it not being better.
Yeah.
I think there's a significant pent-up demand component that's finally stepping into the U.S. economy in general.
Yeah.
Things are by no means booming,
No.
but they're definitely really positive, and the vibe is really positive.
Yeah, and that's kind of contrasting against kind of a slightly flat market going on in Asia at the moment. There's
Right,
a nervousness
Asia's there's a lot of nervousness there, and that's a bit puzzling, frankly, because comparatively speaking, there shouldn't be anything to be nervous about.
No, they seem to be in control.
It's a bit of an irony, yeah.
They've pushed their way through the downturn pretty aggressively.
Certainly seemed like it at the time, right?
Yeah.
So, but there is that, and maybe it's the opposite, right? If you've been sluggish for so long that it's time to step out, maybe if things are so good for so long, eventually you start to hear footsteps.
Yeah.
Maybe
nothing
grows to the sun.
Yeah.
So maybe this pensiveness starts to bleed in. I think that could well be it.
Okay, and somewhere between those, in terms of what's going on, we have Mexico, which seems to be gaining from some negativity in Asia and gaining from a strong market here.
I think so. I think the Mexico, I think is a bit of negativity there, but also that there's a strong sense that I get from people realizing that with the new automation and the new approaches to things and the life cycles continuing to shrink, that if I can have almost as low labor and be 6 weeks closer, then maybe that's worth a bit.
Yeah.
It may not be worth double, but maybe it's worth
a little bit more.
Something, right?
Yeah.
And that, I believe, is a strong push for what's going on. Coupled with the fact that in view of that, and now you have automotive really getting strong in the U.S. and automotive's very strong in Mexico, so I think there's a bit of a snowball effect there.
And the wage inflation we've seen in China, we haven't had in Mexico.
That's right.
If you're projecting those forward, you can see some potentials for parity. You mentioned automotive. That seems to be a sector that's doing very well, as you say, in North America. And is that a sector that's cleaning? Is that a sector it's a sector that cares about reliability?
What's really interesting, because automotive was in fact the poster child for no clean,
right?
Back 15 or 20 years ago, whenever that was, and now that's beginning to evolve. They're a really strong indicator of what's going on in general, and that clean performance is becoming more necessary as our lives depend on our phones and these things. It's no longer an inconvenience when things give up too early, and that's causing this creep of expectation, and I believe that's what's driving more interest in automotive in particular to cleaning, because again they were largely not cleaning people, but that's beginning to change. Absolutely.
Yeah, I find the position that you find yourself in kind of odd, because it's not just about market share. Your total available market seems to constantly be changing as well. People are focused on cleaning this process or this process?
It very much ebbs and flows, and I think that's why many people find the market, a bit odd, which perhaps is good for us. But it's not one of those homogeneous markets where there's great trends and data that one can figure out. It's a lot of small currents, and things that get complicated. Relatively modest opportunities that require coordination on 3 continents. Most people wouldn't take the bother.
Yeah, and it would be remiss of me not to ask what Kyzen has brought new to the show this year. What are we looking at in terms of products?
A couple of new things. On the product side, we've continued our rollout on the stencil side. So we've got Aquinox 8830, which is the low VOC ultrasonic type product. Really doing well out in the field, and again, modern technology for modern soils. The stencil area was one that, as we analyzed it a year or two ago, realized, my God, we haven't done a very good job for the last 20 years, and 20 years ago was the last time anyone did a very good job. And so we saw there's a bit of an opportunity here,
and that's paid off.
And it is. Absolutely. So there's a great deal of interest there. There's a whole line that's coming together, and we're also talking about our control systems that we've been doing control systems, not just monitoring but control, for 20 years, and there's some new innovations there that are coming out for those customers: touchscreen, remote access, all this sort of stuff, to give people the kind of control they want in their lives, and therefore the control they want on their processes.
Yeah, and that's happening in an integrated way in these kind of bigger systems that people are looking
absolutely. It's it always starts out on the bigger systems because they're more dynamic. And so the variables vary more. It's the same list of variables, but they're a bit more static on the batch side. So there it's a case of what's worth the bother. You can control anything, but at what cost, and this sort of stuff.
What's the benefit?
That's right. So there's a bit of a mix there. So those are the key things. Continuing to move forward there, and just in seeing that it's certainly a pleasure to be at a show in the U.S. where people are upbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pleasant change.
It is a pleasant change, and we're just at the kind of start of the big season with NEPCON in a few weeks in Shanghai, and then I think just 2 weeks after that we're back in Nuremberg. So
and Productronica was in Shanghai, which was really positive. We exhibited there, and the turnout was really good. So that was a good. Again, another good barometer of what's coming.
So that's creeping through. Tom, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Always fun.
Thank you.
Take care.